guys, Asha here from Diamond Dreams Art, and I'm going to do a whip video. So for this video, I'm going to be working on Bakery, and it's by Bailey J. Brazeau. So this is what the artwork looks like, and you guys can see that pretty good. And 39 colors. It's a square canvas, a square diamond art canvas, and the canvas specs or the size is 20 inches by 16 inches or 51 centimeters by 41 centimeters. So I thought today I would talk about my family. My family and what got me started diamond painting, or what led me to start diamond painting. Let me move this into frame, make sure you guys can see it. So originally, like I've said in other videos, my sister-in-law, I saw that her and my niece had done some diamond painting, and it was an Eiffel Tower. And I saw the Eiffel Tower and I was like, what is that? And so I looked at it and I saw there were all these little resin beads or crystals, and they had put them on the canvas. And my sister-in-law explained to me, she says, this is how you do it. And at the time, I was going through, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So invasive ductal carcinoma, stage 3, almost to stage 4. And so while I was going through this, I was trying to find something to essentially to keep me occupied on days when I couldn't do much of anything and needed something to do. And so I kind of got started diamond painting. I looked on Amazon and I was like, let me try with a small one and let me see if I can actually do this. So, of course, get on Amazon and find a small one, something that I think I can do. And I start diamond painting. I will put a picture up on here of the first one I did, and it was pretty pretty interesting. But I found that it was relaxing. So normally, my family knows I love to do puzzles, and I'm the kind of person I can sit still and I can work on stuff, and I have no problem working on something, doing a hobby that's slow paced at all. And like I said, so here's diamond painting. So like I said, I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma, and I was actually diagnosed right after, about maybe 5 months, 4 or 5 months after having my baby. I have a younger one. And I probably would not have known I had breast cancer. But after I had him, I essentially felt a lump and assumed it was milk, because I was breastfeeding. And then I come to find out, I don't think that is going away. So my husband told me, he says, you know what, you should probably go get that checked out. And I was like, all right. I don't think it's anything, but I'll go get it checked out. And thank goodness I did. And I listened and went, and my doctor immediately told me, he's like, I don't like this. And he says, you're going to go to get this checked out ASAP. I'm going to put in an order stat. And I said, okay. And mind you, this was during COVID. So it was, I want to say it was 2021. Yeah, around 2021. And yeah, like I said, I was diagnosed, and I have a lot of support. I have, I don't know, for those of you who don't know, I have now a total of 6 children, and they all rallied around me and gave me some of the best support. Also, friends and coworkers. We would not have been able to make it and survive if not for all of my friends and people that I didn't even know rallied around us and gave us so much support. It was wonderful. It was actually a beautiful thing. It was scary enough to know, oh, the big C. That was scary enough. But to know that I had so much support from my friends and family around me was unbelievable. Unbelievable. So anyhow, after going through treatment, I've had, of course, quite a few complications, because when you have breast cancer, it's not just the breast cancer that you're dealing with. It's all sorts of other health things that come along with it, such as, having surgeries if you have to have surgeries, radiation if you have to have radiation. And radiation is its own complication by itself, to be honest with you. So, dealing with that, and radiation was not fun at all, but I got through it. And you know what I must say? I'm here. And I'm thankful that I'm here. And I cannot complain. I absolutely cannot complain. So, like I said, I had my kids here to help me and give me moral support, and family and friends and people that I did not even know at the time, who are now so dear to me, that rallied around and offered support. So anyhow, my village literally came together around myself and my family and my husband, and I don't know what we would have done without him. So anyhow, yes, so, like I said, I have 6 kids, and my oldest son, he is 32 years old now, and I will put a picture up of my kids so you guys can see what they look like, and who these people are I'm talking about. Anyways, so my husband and I decided, we said, you know what? We want to adopt children. We always loved kids, and it was just something that we knew we wanted to do. So we looked into it. We researched. We tried to figure out the best way to go about doing it, and trying to save up money, because we knew it was going to be expensive. And mind you, it was just something we wanted to do. It was not because of any specific thing that was going on. We just loved kids. We loved children. We loved kids. And we wanted to try and help in our own way. So we researched and looked up, and finally found out that one of the best ways to do it is to go through the foster care system. So, we weren't specific on what age we wanted, or what, any of that. We didn't care about the age or whatever. Some people do only want babies, or want to adopt babies, or have babies, which is fine. That's wonderful. That just wasn't our situation. It didn't matter to us, age group. So we started our parenting classes, because that is a requirement sometimes for certain areas that you live in. Certain areas have different requirements for foster parents, or if you want to foster parent and then adopt. So in our area, the requirement was to have go through parenting classes. So we went through parenting classes. We, started getting our house ready, getting the rooms ready. We were so excited. Got a crib set up just in case we ended up, getting a baby or something like that. And meanwhile, we're just about done with all of our requirements and our everything that they wanted us to do. And then we find out, ooh, you're pregnant. So my husband's like, okay, so everything's on pause. So we essentially called our social worker and we said, listen, we are pregnant. We just found out we're pregnant. So we're going to have to wait maybe a little bit. And he says, yeah, why don't we just wait until after you've had the baby and we'll finish everything up. There's not much more you guys need to do. We'll finish everything up and then we'll start. So we had our little baby boy. Let's call him Ty. So we had our little baby boy and brought him home from the hospital. He had a few little complications. And approximately when he was 2 weeks old, we get a phone call. So we get a phone call and they essentially say, we have a 9-year-old little boy. Would you guys consider taking him? And I'm like, ooh, we just had the baby. Is this something we need to jump into right away? I mean, what do we do? I didn't know. So I talked to the worker and I was like, listen, you know what? I'm going to call my husband, get his opinion, and let's see. I think we're going to be okay. I said, but just let me make sure we're on the same page. And can I call you right back? And he said, sure, no problem. Just let me know. He's a 9-year-old little boy and we just need to find a place for him. No problem, was my response. So anyhow, about a minute passes. I call my husband. I'm like, hey, what do you think? They have a 9-year-old little boy they want us to take right away, and they want to put him with us. And my husband said, let's do it. This is what we've been waiting for. Let's do it. Come on, let's go. And I was like, okay. So mind you, my husband and I were both, I want to say we were 28. And I called the worker and I said, listen, we are ready. Let's do it. Bring him. So he says, okay, I'm going to bring him around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, no problem. And I know at this time my husband will be home around 3. So I get everything prepared, try and clean more I can clean up. It wasn't really dirty, but I wanted everything to be perfect for this little guy that was coming. So he comes in. They ring the doorbell, actually. They ring the doorbell. And the worker is there with him. And he says, here is Jay. And I will put a picture up of Jay now and what Jay looks like now. But here's Jay. And Jay reaches out his little hand to me. And he says, hi, I'm Jay. And he shakes my hand. And I'm like, hi, Jay. I'm Asha. And I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm African American, yeah? Well, Jay is blonde haired and blue eyed and the cutest little guy ever in the world. So I just absolutely fell in love with him from day one. And he comes in and he's such a good little guy. And I was so worried that I was not going to be enough for him. I wanted him not to be scared. And I wanted him to know that we were going to take care of him. And we were going to do everything within our power to make sure he was safe and he felt loved. So, in my new mom brain, I said, okay, I'm going to let him eat whatever he wants. And we're going to watch Beauty and the Beast and Disney movies all day. Mind you, this was back when there were still VHS tapes and and you know, all of that stuff. So I'm kind of dating myself a little bit, but that's what we had at the time. So anyhow, Jay comes in and we're getting to know each other before my husband gets here. He meets baby Ty and he loves him. And Jay proceeds to tell me I am the oldest of 7 children. And I said, wow, really? He says, yeah. And I said, oh, well, that is cool. That is cool. So anyhow, Jay is watching Beauty and the Beast sitting next to Ty, the newborn, and they're just having a good time. We're all having a good time. And if I said, Jay, do you want some something to eat? And Jay says, sure. So I make him, I think I made him a sandwich. And he ate that sandwich and enjoyed it. And then I said, Jay, do you want some ice cream? Sure, I love ice cream. So we get ice cream. And I had some candy. And I said, Jay, do you want some candy, honey? And he says, yes. So Jay essentially got whatever he wanted that day, okay? And so my husband comes home. He sees Jay and he's like, oh, hi, Jay. So it just threw us all off guard. He wasn't expecting Jay. You know, he was, but he wasn't. Let's just put it like that. So Jay shakes his hand and says, hi, I'm Jay. And Jay got whatever he wanted that night. I'm telling you, I didn't want Jay to be scared. I imagined that if I were 9 years old and I was put somewhere where I didn't know the people, I didn't know whether they were going to take care of me, whether they were going to love me, whether they were going to be kind to me. I just wanted to do everything within my power to make sure that Jay knew he was okay and safe. So Jay had all the candy, all the cookies, all the ice cream he could hold in his little 9-year-old tummy. And by the end of the night, it was around 8:30, 9 o'clock. I said, okay, Jay, it's time to go to bed. I said, here is your room. He says, wow. He says, are you guys rich? And I said, no. I said, no, Jay. No, we're not rich, honey. Mind you, we lived in a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhome at the time. And we were like, little sweetheart, no, we're not rich. We're far from it, but we're rich in love for you. So Jay gets ready to go to bed. And he's like, I don't feel so good. And I said, well, what's wrong, baby? What's wrong, Jay? What's going on? And he runs to the bathroom and he proceeds to throw up everything he has eaten that day. And it was totally my fault because I wanted Jay to be comfortable and feel safe and be happy. And I gave Jay all the cookies, all the candy, everything his little heart desired, he got from me. And I told my husband, I'm such a bad mom. What a bad parent I am. How could I give him all this candy and now he's sick? What kind of parent am I? So I was just so distraught because I was like, I made my boy sick and I didn't want to do that. La, 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 la. So anyways, that's how Jay's journey began with us. And when I tell you he is to this day, such a good boy and such a wonderful young man. He truly is, and if I can say this, he was truly a blessing and is truly a blessing to me and my husband. we see Jay once or twice a week. He doesn't live far from us. And he is here. He is checking on us. Do you guys need anything? How are you doing? And he was so responsible at such a young age. There were times when I remember I loaded little Ty into the car and Jay would say, Mom, did you bring the diaper bag? Diaper bag? Oh my gosh. I take off running back into the house to grab the diaper bag because I'm a new parent. I don't know what the heck. Everything's new for me. So being that Jay was so responsible and he was the oldest of 7 children, he was used to having to take care of everyone. And so our dynamic was such that there were times when I was doing chores or I needed to wash the dishes or wash clothes. And Jay would come to me and say, Mom, can I wash the dishes for you? And I'd tell him, no, Jay, no, I want you to go outside and I want you to get on your bike and I want you to play. And Jay would be so upset with me because he was only known and he thought his purpose was to take care of everyone else. And so when I would tell him, no, I need you to go outside and I need you to play and let me be the mom and you be the kid. And I want you to enjoy this time. And at the time, he had such a hard time with doing that because he wanted to take care of everybody and take care of everything. And it was an adjustment for sure. It was a new adjustment for him, and it was a new adjustment for me. Being a new mom, and for him not having to necessarily be responsible for everything and for everyone, and actually being able to just play. So, over the next, I want to say 4 months, 3 or 4 months, that's the way our relationship was. It was wonderful. He kept his everything neat and tidy. He liked everything to be perfect and in its own place. I still did have to make him go outside and play, which he did not like, but he did it. He did it to his credit. He did, even if he didn't want to, he did do it. So, anyhow, that's the way Jay was. That was our relationship with Jay. And, so after Jay, we get a phone call from a worker, and the worker says, we found Jay's younger brother, and his name is Jer. Would you and your husband be willing to take him as well? And I was like, ooh, 3 kids. Okay, well, call my husband again. I said, hey, they found Jer's brother. My husband and I had assumed that it was possible because there were 7 children. We thought, well, maybe there would be another one that needed a home, and we'll be prepared because if they do call us, then we will take Jer, or take one of Jay's siblings. So they did call us and they found Jer, and Jer was 8 years old. And we were so excited. We said, yes, we will take Jer. Yes. If we had had enough space, we probably would have taken them all of the siblings, but they were all, separated. There were 2 girls that were younger than my boys, and they were in one home. And then the 3 youngest were placed in another home as well. So, we tell Jay, listen, we got a surprise for you. And when you come home from school, we will tell you the surprise. And so Jay was like, okay. He's all gung-ho and excited about this situation. So we kind of get everything finalized, and they tell us that they're going to bring Jer the next day. Wonderful. So Jay comes home from school, and we're like, Jay, guess what? He says, what? They found your brother Jer in a homeless shelter, and he's going to come and he's going to stay with us. His eyes look so defeated in that moment, and he sighs like the world is ending. And I'm thinking here, I'm giving him the best news ever, and Jay is not having it at all. Jay is like, this is not it, Mom, at all. So I tell him, well, aren't you excited? I said, Jared is coming to stay with us, your brother. And he looks at me and he says, Mom, can it just be me, you, Dad, and the baby? And I'm like, no, it's not going to just be us. Your brother is coming, and he's going to be here. And I will actually put up a picture of his brother. And I think I have an older picture of all of us. So Jay, Ty, my husband, myself, and Jer. Jay, Ty, yeah. So 5 of us in a picture, and I will post that up here as well. So Jay was like, Mom, no, I don't want him to come. I just want it to be us. And we laugh about it to this day. We kind of talk about it. We think it's the funniest doggone thing ever. But Jay was not willing to share. And it was such an interesting dynamic. And I remember my husband and I talking, and we were thinking, okay, since Ty is our firstborn, essentially he's our firstborn child, but Jay is our oldest child, what would their dynamic be? Will Jay take on the role as the older sibling and take care of his younger brothers and sisters, or will Ty, what would their roles be? So which was different. It's an interesting thing to think about, because an older child normally takes on a certain role in a family unit. And then the second oldest takes on it, or the middle child takes on a certain dynamic, and then so forth and so on. And then the baby takes on a certain dynamic. But because essentially we have 2 older children, what will their dynamic be? How will it work? So anyways, Jer shows up, and Jer is the complete and total polar opposite from Jay. And I remember telling Jay, I said, listen, son, one day you two you're going to need each other now more than ever. I said, but one day you'll need each other, and you're going to need to depend upon each other. So essentially, get over yourself. That's what I told him. I was like, you guys are going to need each other, and it is important that you have each other, because you never know what can happen. I said, no one is promised to live forever. You and your brother might need each other. You might have to depend on one another, So anyhow, Jer is here, and like I said, they're complete opposite. As to where Jay, you don't have to tell Jay to take a shower. You don't have to tell Jay to get ready for school. You don't have to wake Jay up. Jay has an alarm set. Jay is prepared and ready to handle business. Jer, completely opposite. Jer, did you wash your hands coming out of the bathroom? Jer turns around and he goes back in. Jer, did you take a shower? Jer turns around. He's got to get in the shower. And I'm telling you, they're like oil and water, these two. So I have a newborn, an 8-year-old, and a 9-year-old, and essentially a new husband, because we had been married maybe 2.5 years. So it was very interesting, to say the least. And we just got along wonderfully. It worked. Our family dynamic worked. Those boys were the light of our lives, or are still the light of our lives. I don't even know if they know. I have told them, but I don't think, I've had people that have met us, and essentially we've had people we've talked to about adopting and fostering and things like that. I think there was a movie, a friend of mine, her husband wrote a story about their situation. And Mark Wahlberg was, I think, in that movie, and her husband wrote. And we had actually talked with them years and years ago, before they adopted their children. And, essentially told them this is what, goes on, because sometimes there are different family dynamics when you're adopting children out of the foster care system. Now, for me and my boys, I knew their mother. I knew their biological mother. We talked. We actually get along very well. We still talk to this day. And I love her to death. And I've told her that. I said, I would not have these beautiful babies, these beautiful children, if it weren't for you. So her and I have always had a really good relationship. And I'm so thankful for that. It's important to, if you can, have a good relationship, because those are your children. They're her children. They're my children. We love them. So everything that we do is for them. All of the stress and strife, and you're trying to get things done for them. Everything we do essentially is for them. Everything you do is for the kids. So anyhow, my point being is the dynamic with adopting and fostering, it can be a little tricky, because you don't know, what kind of situation your kids have been in, or what they have been through. What they tell you, but sometimes what they say might be true, might not be true. It just depends on what the circumstance is. So, anyhow, so we always had a really good relationship with their biological mom and dad. We knew their father. We didn't necessarily have a relationship with him, but we knew him and talked with him on a few occasions, and he was a nice guy. So we just wanted to make sure they had what they needed. Of course, not everything they want, but everything they needed, love and a roof over their head, and food and clothes and all the stuff that we could possibly give them, and as a parent, you hope and you pray, you give your children a good chance and a good fighting opportunity in life. Of course, you want them to be good people. You want them to be kind and respectful, and treat people right, and be a good human, So, I have to say they all are very good people. They're very good humans, and they treat people with respect. So, anyhow, so we have Ty, Jay, Jer, and everything is great. I have 3 boys, ready-made family. So as time goes on, let's see, Ty becomes 2. Actually, he was 3. Ty becomes 3. We moved to a different home because we needed something bigger. We're like, we got these kids, they're going to need a yard. The townhome didn't really have a yard. And, just trying to give them a better, what you think is a better life. Actually, they probably would, they were content with wherever we were, they were content. But anyhow, we move into a bigger home. Jay, Jer, and Ty, and my husband and I. And we're just going through life. Sorry, you guys might hear a little noise in the background. I have my window open because I needed some fresh air coming through here while I was talking. So anyhow, let's see. Ty was, I want to say 3. Yeah, 3.5 maybe. And our worker called us again and says, hey, listen, I have a little girl. There is a family that's going to adopt her, but can you guys keep her for a little while? So we don't have to put her in a group home, just temporary. There is a couple they're already started the paperwork for adoption. They will come and they will pick her up on the weekends. They will take her to the movies on the weekends, take her to the beach and, all this stuff. But until the paperwork is ready, can she stay? And I was like, okay, we have our boys, so we're good. All right. Okay, Asha, we know. So anyhow, we have little Beck. And Beck turned 8 the day prior to her coming to our home. So Beck comes in and she is a little spitfire. And I will put a picture up here of Beck. And she's the littlest, sassiest little thing you ever want to meet. And so Beck comes in, show her room, and all of the little stuff we have ready for Beck. So, like I said, originally we knew this was just temporary, that the couple that was going to adopt her essentially was ready to, we were getting the paperwork ready, and they were going to be coming to get her and stuff like that and spend time with her and all the things. And so Beck is great. She doesn't take any crap from the boys. They're trying to give her, a little bit of a hard time because that's what brothers do. And she's like, no, she's so feisty and she wouldn't let them get over on her for anything, And I told my husband, I said, oh my gosh, this kid, she fits right in. She fits right in. And I will tell you that we found something very interesting in Beck is from day one, when she came to our house, I was mommy and my husband was daddy from day one. And I was like, okay. So anyhow, a couple would come. Let's call them Jim and Tammy. So Jim would come and Tammy would come on the weekends. They would pick up Beck and they'd take her to the movies, take her to the beach, take her out to dinner. On these weekends, just all of the things. Do all the things. I even think one night she spent the night, and this was probably a Friday night or something like that, or whatever. And finally, I think they were probably a week or 2 away from the adoption process being almost finalized. And the woman comes, Tammy comes, and she tells me, she calls me and she says, hey, I wanted to see if I could come see Beck and talk to you. And I said, sure, no problem, Tammy, come on in, whenever. We'll be here. And so Tammy comes and she sits down and she's like, listen, I want to tell you, my husband bonded with Beck, but I didn't. So we are not going to adopt her anymore. I said, what? Yeah, we've decided. I didn't bond with her. My husband did, but I didn't. And so I don't want to do it. And I was like, okay. All right. So anyhow, Jim and Tammy wanted to get together have a meeting with Beck and explained to Beck why they were not going to be adopting her again. Mind you, or why they weren't going to be adopting her, period. And so my husband and I were like, you know, we don't think this is a good idea. We don't think she needs to have a meeting with them to explain why they're not going to adopt her. We fought against it. We did not think it was a good plan. No one, to me, in my opinion, I don't know, you guys tell me in the comments if you think this is right or not. I told the worker, I said, no one cares why they don't want her. We don't need an explanation. Beck doesn't need an explanation. She's 8 years old. I said, no one cares why they don't want her. Let her play and move on with whatever. We don't care. So, anyhow, they ended up having a meeting because we were voted down, and explaining to Beck why they weren't going to adopt her. And Beck pretty much stayed stood between my legs and was like, just with me. She didn't want to leave me. She was like, essentially, she didn't care. She was like, Mommy, when are we going home? And so, I told the worker, I said, listen, what's going to happen to Beck now? And they were like, well, she's going to go into foster care. We're going to have to figure out, a situation for her. And I got a little ahead of myself. So I will tell you guys this. Prior to, no, I guess it was after. It was kind of after, because I don't think Beck was really listening to Tammy and Jim when they were telling her in the meeting that they didn't want her or they weren't going to adopt her, that they changed their minds essentially. And so we went home that day and we talked to Beck and we said, listen, sweetheart, do you understand what happened? What's going on? Tammy and Jim have decided they are not going to adopt you. Do you understand what that means? She says, yeah, it's okay, Mommy and Daddy. I didn't want to leave anyway. Oh, my gosh. My husband and I said, we called the worker. We were like, we're adopting her. Start her paperwork. She's home. She doesn't have to go anywhere. She is home. She doesn't ever have to worry about being moved around, switched around, or any other mess like that. She is home. Start the paperwork. So it's a girl. Congratulations, it's a girl. So I will put a picture up of how Bex looks today. Here, my beautiful baby girl. I tell her now, to this day, I was like, do you know how unplanned you were? I said, you were an unplanned baby. I said, but somebody knew you needed us and we needed you. And that's how that happened. So, anyhow, now we have Jay, Jer, and Beck. We have a family. And I think I have a picture of just Jay, Jer, Beck, and yeah, I have a couple pictures, so I will post those here so you guys can see Jay, Jer, Beck, and Ty. Probably a couple of those I'll post up so you guys can see them. But those are my babies. And I don't want to keep the video super duper long, so I will end now. And let me know if you guys want me to do another whip video. And if you have any questions or anything you want me to cover in the next video. I thank you guys so much for being here with me and sharing in my videos. And like I said, if you have any questions or any comments, say hello. Say what city you're in, what state you're in. And that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much and bye for now. Oh, please make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. I greatly appreciate it. Bye for now.